And so now ideas begin to flow to you through your path of least resistance. So when you are in meditation and a thought comes to you, that thought is a thought worth listening to, because it's not from this receptive mode of fear. It's from this receptive mode of knowing who you are, what you want, what's in your vortex, what's already been allowed by you to play out. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to everything you want and knows your path of least resistance to guide you to it. Isn't that nice? So you're at the doorway of your vortex, and you might not be ready yet to translate into words like Esther is doing here, but you'll receive impulses, maybe an impulse to do something or an impulse to call someone. But then you're going to get back into your day. And as you get back into your day and you start observing what's going on in your day, you're probably going to reintroduce more resistance back into your experience. So the closer to meditation, the more likely you are to more clearly receive the answers that you've been listening for. The further into the day you get, the more you're going to start behaving like you usually do. But can you feel how, after a few days of this or weeks of this or even years of this, where you quiet your mind and tune to the frequency of who you are, that you could become more guided by that broader perspective? Esther's been asking herself a lot. Now, she's been receiving us since 1985. That's a long time. And yet, even today, she will ask herself as a thought comes, because your receiver is always on, isn't it? As a thought comes, she will ask herself, where did that thought come from? Now, if the television's on, it's pretty obvious where the thought came from. But when she's just taking her walk, or when she's in the shower, or when she's moving about in her day, and thoughts come as they do all day, she's been stopping and saying, where's that thought coming from? What receiving mode am I in? What train of thought led to that? Was I in the receiving mode of worrying about things, or was I in the receiving mode of appreciating things? And in time, you will come to realize that you have a very broad view helping you out. Some years ago, Jerry and Esther were in San Antonio. They live outside the city limits. And they'd gone into Bernie, the little town where they pick up their mail. And they couldn't get to the post office because there was a flood. The Cibolo Creek had overrun its banks, and the post office was flooded. They couldn't get in. And so they went home, and they immediately called their friends who live in San Antonio, which is downstream. And they own a ranch in San Antonio, 1,000 acres, and that Cibolo Creek runs right through their ranch. And Esther called and said, the Cibolo Creek is out of its banks up here. The post office is blocked off. We couldn't even get in, and it's headed your way. And so their friends were able to get the tractors out of the pastures and move the cattle and the horses out of the pasture. And as the creek made its way there in the next half hour or so, everything went well for them. And then Pat called and said, it sure is nice to have a friend upstream. And that really is the point that we want to make with you. You have infinite intelligence adoring you and upstream and aware of you and everything that is important.